Welcome to Confessions by Banana Ketchup. I'm seeing my dead sister. When I was 4 years old, I watched my mom's husband murder my sister in front of me. I've always had paranormal experiences that involved her since I was 8 years old, but lately it's been more intense. About a year ago, I was in my living room watching Netflix and I hear someone crying. I couldn't understand why, and when I look over on the other couch, I see a child whimpering like she's in pain. I immediately recognize her. She was wearing the same pink Minnie Mouse shirt, and her hair was half up like our mom used to do. I thought I was seeing things. I got closer and tried to touch her, but when I did, she completely vanished. I told myself I'm just tired and sat back down on the couch. The second I sat back down, I heard her again and look over and see her covering her face crying again. I did the same thing, tried to touch her, but she vanished again. I went straight to her room and just broke down crying. I told myself I was just seeing things and tried not to think much about again. Fast forward, and I'm living with my boyfriend and our daughter who is 2 years old. We have woken up out of a dead sleep, hearing a little girl laugh right by our bed, but nothing was there, and our daughter was asleep in her room with the door closed. It freaked us out, but again, I just move on from it. The last few weeks, when my daughter is in her room, talking to herself and laughing like she's having a conversation with someone, and it got so bad. My boyfriend and I would go in to just make sure someone wasn't in the closet hiding in her room. Now, she's kissing and talking to my sister's urn, which is so odd because I've never talked to her about Ashley or humanized her urn to give her the idea to talk to it. What really freaked my boyfriend and I out, though, was she rubbed the urn and said, "It's okay, Ashy." Am I crazy or overthinking the entire thing? Has anyone else had similar experiences? I'm so confused. Thank you, Hawkins818, the author. My first and last time in LEIGH WOODS. My name is Luke, and I'm now 20 years old. This story happened to me when I was 17. This experience still gives me chills to this day. In May 2017, I found myself going out a lot more on my mountain bike. I was getting bored of cruising around the streets, so I wanted to go for a trail woodland bike ride. I've never been to LEIGH WOODS before then. Personally, I don't think I'll be going alone again. After some research into a few different areas, LEIGH WOODS seemed to be my best bet. Living only a couple miles away, it was a nice bike ride. On arriving, it looked very peaceful, and I was almost in a dreamlike state by my first look of the place. For a woodland area in England, let alone Bristol, it was amazing. On going into the woods, I remember seeing different colors at the start of each trail, signifying difficulty for bikers and length for walkers. Don't take my word on that bit, I still have no clue what they mean. So I decided to go down a colored, I can't remember very well, I think it was blue, trail to see how it was there. Finding it excited, I decided to go down the harder trail, and now here's where it started to get weird. I began having this weird sort of vision looking around as I'm being swallowed by the woodland. Everything felt like it was getting bigger and further away. I brushed it off, but it turns out I actually lost track of time. I got lost on the trail. Now, bear in mind, I'm very observant and aware of my surroundings before this trail. I then came to a strange opening. I could go left in the rough direction of the way out or right, deeper in the woods. Me being me, I decided to go deeper into the woods. I came to a weird little trail that just had dodgy written all over it, metaphorically speaking. I went against my gut feeling of turning back and went down there. I came to a point of which the trail continued but it was getting dangerous. The trail being too bumpy for me to even walk down, I then turned back. But for a few minutes before turning back, I don't know why, but I was just stood still staring down the trail. I felt like I was being watched from all angles, even though it would be near impossible to have that many eyes surrounding me in that area. I got nervous and began walking back up the hill as I was too tired to ride at this point. Keep in mind, my bike tires are completely solid, no punctures, slow punctures, or even anything wrong at all. I wish I still had pictures of the bike. Upon getting back to the spot where I originally went to the trail, that weird loss of time thing happened. It felt as if the whole path had stretched by half a mile. As if the woodland was moving, I began walking up the path, feeling the same eerie sensation of being watched as I did beforehand. This time, it felt a bit more sinister. It felt as if something was about to happen. Bearing in mind, I hadn't seen a single person at this point in time since I went down that first trail. I'll explain the scenery before continuing. It's a long path, a slight steep hill to my left, a very narrow river to my right, maybe 4 feet deep and maybe 4 feet wide. Bushes are on the other side of the river, with the odd tree every now and then. Upon getting about a quarter of the way up the slowly inclining path, I hear a woman crying behind a tree up ahead. I start slowing down my walking pace to try and get a good look behind the tree, but the whole time I'm thinking to myself, why would someone jump across to cry behind a tree? So I edge closer to the river to look behind to see if the person is okay. Also because many people go to LEIGH WOODS to commit suicide. So I was hoping to maybe help this person. But you guessed it, there is no one there, and the crying stopped. A bit weirded out, I just slowly turned away and start walking again, a bit quicker as I was unnerved at this time. I've had paranormal experiences before, but not usually in the place like the woods, usually in a house or some sort of building, so this was new to me. I had this sudden shiver as I was walking, and maybe a minute or so later, only a couple meters away from where I heard the crying, it started again. But this time, it was right opposite me across the river. I didn't bother looking. I started to go into a bit of jog, and as I got faster, I heard the bushes rustling as if they or it was following me. Upon hearing this, I speed up, and the crying became more and more hysterical. Bear in mind, my bike was fine before this moment in time. I thought to myself, duck this, I'm gone. I went to hop on my bike with the adrenaline that was rushing through me, and I came to almost a sudden stop. My back tire on my bike had become completely flat, so I had no other choice but to sprint with my bike and pray for the best that I don't trip up or end up having to throw it to run faster. With the crying person still close to me and keeping up, I'm running faster and faster, praying I just get off of this path that I was on. I had that feeling of wanting to cry because I couldn't actually do anything to help the situation or get out of it faster. And after what felt like an hour, but in reality was probably only 5 or 10 minutes, I could see the car park. The crying had stopped following me and getting closer and started moving back down to where I first heard it. I sprinted out into the car park. I must have been as white as a sheet of paper and hysterical with my breathing and wheezing as multiple people in the car park turned to look at me like I was crazy. I've seen the exit sign out of the car park and ran towards it, and whilst doing so, I noticed my bike to be moving a lot smoother on approaching the car park exit. I couldn't believe that my bike tire had suddenly regained all of its air. It was solid again, as it was before the unnerving crying person shenanigans. I jumped on my bike and got away from LEIGH WOODS as fast as I could, and have never gone back since, as every person I tell this story to becomes reluctant to go there with me or any extra people. End of actual story. Keep reading for a little extra information. The thing that makes this scary is I have Irish heritage. In Irish folklore, there is a demon woman called the Banshee. She is seen in woodlands next to rivers, lakes, washing blood off of clothes. It is said that if you see her washing blood off of clothes, the person who owns the clothes will die. Alternatively, if you hear her crying, it means death. I can't remember the meanings exactly of the deaths, but it means either you or a loved one will die. Since 2017, I have lost my auntie, two of my best friends, and a dog. Leigh Woods is no joke. There are many stories that have came out of Leigh Woods too. You can read online about them. Search up Leigh Woods Bristol haunting. It is rated 87th most haunted place in the UK according to Higgy Pop. It's a popular spot in Bristol for suicides, or it was at least. Even the ghost of Isambard Kingdom Brunel has been spotted there, looking over the suspension bridge in which he designed. I may submit more stories soon, as I have a couple more stories of experiences I have had over the years. Thank you, proud by UNHINHXD, the author. I hope I pronounce it right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Would you dare to go to Leigh Woods? Leave a comment down below. See you again in my next video, and until then, please be safe.